like a dog in the street.
Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, got the sports dad back in the house here. It is a Wednesday, which means it's time for us to show you how wrong we are when we make predictions.
Write this down.
The only show in America that has the. What's funny is there is a lot, or maybe it's not funny. There's a lot of J.J. McCarthy positive predictions out there. A lot by the listeners too, by the way, combing through some of the accountabilities. We're going to start to take some of those off because, if you predicted he was going to throw for 4,000 yards, I think we can probably start to take those off the board. But we don't run away from it. We'll show you exactly how wrong we are every single Wednesday. Write that down here. Before we get to how this all works, the accountabilities, we will carve some space to talk about the temperature rising on the quarterback takes with the Vikings and a quarterback cesspool challenge. Quick Trip. In fact, a lot of people might be road tripping around holiday weekend. Yeah. Quick Trip is going to be your friend.
It absolutely will be, because you know what? Quick Trip has everything that you could possibly want. There is nothing better to, like you're driving past these stores, right? You're going to Iowa, you're going to Wisconsin, and when you see Quick Trip, or in Iowa, Quick Star, you know that what you're going to get when you stop there is quality. And that's the most important thing. This is not a roll of the dice of, I wonder what this place is like. With Quick Trip, this place is going to be fantastic. The choices are numerous: breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack, the Karuba coffee. It doesn't matter what you want. Quick Trip is going to have it. And now you're saying, okay, but Sports Dad, what if I have to fuel up? And
Sports Dad.
But Sports Dad's going to tell you right now, if you have to fuel up, you got the quality gasoline guarantee at Quick Trip. I mean, it is the place that has you talk about championship pedigree, boys. That's Quick Trip.
Yeah, we're not talking about championship pedigree with his football team this season at this point, but maybe with North American Banking Company, who powers the Write That Down predictions every single week. And so North American Banking Company is local. That's the main thing. They were founded in 1998. It's a Minnesota-based banking company, 6 locations. And online and mobile banking are very important for everyone these days. You might think that a community bank would not have a very good online and mobile banking, but you'd be wrong. Because North American Banking Company has the same online and mobile banking tools as some of the big national banks that you may think of. So cutting-edge technology coupled with in-person relationships, friendly, knowledgeable people that you can actually sit down and have a conversation with that manage your financials. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Okay.
Write this down.
Here's how this all works every single Wednesday. We all make 3 Vikings or football-related predictions. They must be quantifiable. Those are pretty much the parameters. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Lindsay and make guest predictions, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled for sometime, hopefully, in like Q1 of 2026. The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl, by the way. So there's, a couple months left here, 2.5 months left for us to do some work. So we'll start with Judd. Why don't you step up to the accountability podium here?
Yeah, I don't love it.
You said the Vikings defense would have an interception against the Packers.
It's remarkable. What is this now, 5 consecutive games?
I mean, yeah, can we get a turnover?
I mean, they
Can
just
we
can't.
get a turnover one time?
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I know that they kind of it's hard to predict, but with this defense and the way that they give you different looks and exotic blitzes, I mean, it's
exactly.
If you're not getting home with takeaways and sacks, you're getting torched. Whoops, let me go back here. The Vikings, you said the Vikings.
Sneak preview.
It's more red over here.
Ooh, okay.
So, we'll keep going with Juddy. You said on the second play, the Vikings would go no huddle basically right away on their first drive and continue.
Yep.
So, as you'll see with Declan's accountability, you're wrong on this. They did not go no huddle on the second play of the game.
Correct.
But I'll get back to that in a second. The Commanders will win the NFC East. I don't know if mathematically they are eliminated, but
that's fine.
I would,
We're gonna start
let's,
taking some
let's
stuff.
start to take stuff off like
We'll-
that.
we'll
I prefer that
Play
now.
under protest.
Because if
Yeah.
you don't, it's going to be like at the end of the season, it's going to be like 3 pages of red for Judd.
That was my
I prefer this.
I started taking JJ McCarthy predictions off for
Yeah,
the
good
listeners
call.
too. As you'll
Nah,
see,
it's
it's
fine.
like
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
we'll spread the hit on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and take that Commanders prediction off. And why don't you go ahead and take the McCarthy predictions off as well?
You said Shadur Sanders would start 2 or more games for the Browns. Well, unless he steps in a pothole on Friday, he's
Never know
gonna.
in Cleveland.
Kevin
Yeah, that's
Kevin
true.
Stefanski's post-game speech barely mentioning Shadur might be one of my favorite hate things of all time.
Yeah.
And Shadur,
Well,
thanks a lot.
you'll find out why in the quarterback cesspool challenge later. Maybe he didn't think so highly of that performance.
Okay.
And then we're going to highlight this one. It doesn't come off the board, but it's funny because you said Miles Price would not fumble a kickoff return for the rest of the season.
Okay.
I think the punt return muff, like where it bounced
That's a
off, I think
fumble.
that's a fumble classified, but it was a punt.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you said kickoff.
Yep. So what you're saying is by the hair of my chinny chin, I escaped
Exactly.
that being in red. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So a bad week for me. I said the Vikings defense would combine for at least 5 sacks, interceptions, fumbles, blah blah blah. I said a Viking would do a Lambeau leap on Sunday. Will Reichert should have done one after that 59-yard field goal.
That would have been awesome.
Just run all the way down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
That'd be great. J.J. McCarthy will finish the season with more passing yards than Caleb Williams. These are the ones we're starting to take off the board.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
Kwesi will win NFL Executive of the Year.
What do you mean?
We won't find out for a few more months, but
Yeah, good call. I totally
love
endorse this idea.
I love this.
Yes, this is way better.
and you know what? These clowns, these Minnesota Vikings, the
Ooh.
decision makers, the quarterback who can't complete a pass, who've let everyone down, who've damaged our credibility,
Yeah.
giving takes on this show. It's not our fault. It's their fault for damaging our
You
credibility.
guys said.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
like that.
deserve for these to stay on the board.
We expected them to do their job.
And they couldn't live up to the
Yeah.
pressure of our expectations.
You know, that's always been my thing. It's why I pick teams to win. Because then I can dump on
right.
them worse.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then this one doesn't come off the board here, but it's a lot closer than I maybe thought it would be. This was more of a career prediction, but I said Max Brosmer will throw a regular season NFL touchdown pass at some point in his career. This was like in the summertime or training camp, and boy, we might get there this weekend.
Cracking, baby.
But knowing how this offense has been operating, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Okay,
Whoa.
listeners,
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yep.
Hey.
Yep. I see what
strap
you're
in
doing.
here.
I see you.
So Joel said J.J. McCarthy would not throw an interception against the Packers. Aaron said, I think this was against the Bears here. He said McCarthy over 237 against the Bears, and then Cowherd would praise him for being a system quarterback. Neither one of those things happened. Brady said in 2025, McCarthy would throw for at least 3,776 yards, 30 or more tuds, and a passer rating of 100.2 or higher, basically eclipsing all of the 2024 quarterback class guys from us. It ain't going to happen. McCarthy will throw a touchdown pass in at least 18 different games. Adrian. Matt said McCarthy will throw for at least 3,500 yards. Tony said he'd throw for over 4,200 yards. Brian said over 4,000 yards. So, I mean, unless he wants to throw for 2,000 yards in a game, mathematically, those aren't going to happen. And then our guy McQueen, he made 4 predictions a few weeks ago. He's 3 for 3 with 1 pending. He said the Vikings would lose this is like starting with the Chargers game.
Yep.
The Vikings would lose their next 2 games and or lose 3 of their next 5 games.
That happened.
Plenty of clearance for that one. Dex, we'll start with the bad. You said the Vikings would cover the 6.5. They couldn't even score 6.5.
Yeah, let's say.
You said J.J. McCarthy would have at least 3,000 passing yards by last week. This one technically could still happen. You said J.J. McCarthy won't crack Steven Ruiz's top 20 quarterback rankings until at least November 1st, which means between November 1st and the end of the year, if he cracks the top 20, then you would lose this. But he ain't cracking the top 20. So, all right, I think I'm right on this. So you said he won't crack the top 20.
Correct.
Until at least November 1st. So you're leaving a window from November 1st through the end of the year.
Yeah.
To crack the top 20.
Correct.
Yep.
Like he was outside. So the spirit of this was he started like at 32, like I think to start the year. And then I think after week 1, I made this prediction is when I did it, and basically was saying, all right, he's going to play well. That was my thought. And he's still going to be crapping on him, and he won't get into the top 20 at all. Like from then through at least November 1st.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Naga. And then you said, so this is where Judd got a little bit screwed with the way that you phrased your prediction. So Declan said the Vikings will run no huddle at some point against the Packers in plus territory specifically.
Yep.
And not because of the clock. It's kind of a we'll know it when we see it. Well, they did run no huddle like at the end of the first half and when they were trailing in the fourth quarter. But when the Purple Daily Film Review Department went in and looked at the game all 22 style, the Vikings ran one no huddle play. I think it was after the Jefferson completion on the first drive at the Packers 34. They did not huddle after that play.
Okay.
Judd said they would run no huddle out of the gate on the first drive.
Right.
So you're wrong.
Yep.
But Dex gets the point because technically it was a no huddle play on the first drive.
Yep. The spirit of my prediction was totally different. So like it was worded like I wanted, because I thought that starting with the second play, because tempo had worked so well against the Bears at the end, that they would replicate it for a while. But they didn't. So I am completely comfortable with this loss of a point. And Dex was right.
Nothing off the board for age. And so here's where we're at. I don't know, a couple months, 2 months and change left in the season. I'm at 41.8% completions and lead with 10 touchdowns. Judd 36.2% with 9 touchdowns. And then this is kind of crazy mathematically. Listeners, Declan and AJ all at 33.3% completions with varying amounts of touchdowns. Career stats going back a few years, Declan atop the completion percentage list, 36.3%. And then listeners and myself tied with 67 touchdowns in that category. So there's your accountability session here.
Write this down.
Let's get our guy Lindsay in here to make his debut.
Hey guys,
I'm gonna write that down. What's going on, Lindsay?
I'm just hanging out, getting
Hanging around.
ready to head out in the tundra after this, I guess. So
Yeah, we got a nice
Gotta
little
do some
snowfall.
shoveling.
yeah, I think we got about 6-7 inches here. So
Where are you at?
Fargo.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
different kind of snow last night, probably.
It's the
Yep.
it's the icy kind of wet, heavy mix here in this. That's what I have, at least over here in the.
Yeah, that's how it started here. I think we probably got half-inch of rain and kind of destroyed everything. So
This is where we're at with the Vikings now. It's like we're
Yeah,
just
weather.
stalling by talking about the weather.
That wind is something today, guys. I'm not sure
Yeah.
about you guys, but the wind is howling.
It
here
really
in the
is.
park.
Those wind chills are like 10 to 15
Yeah.
degrees here.
I'm
in the
sure
Twin
glad the
Cities.
Vikings don't play outdoors, huh?
Yeah.
The,
But it looks like the snow is let up and it should
Oh,
kind of
that's
clear
nice.
out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's improving.
Yeah.
The becoming your parents commercials from Progressive. I am the guy like just geeking out, super excited about the weather. Oh man, we're gonna.
Oh, hun.
Hon, and
Oh,
my
look at
wife
that.
she just rolls her eyes like,
She's
what did
right.
I
I'm
marry?
Team
You are
Kelsey.
30. You're gonna be 33 in a
Yeah.
couple weeks, and you are 64 years old with your New Balance and cargo shorts, just ready to rock.
Dude,
essentially, all
Team
right.
Kelsey.
Dude, Jeremiah makes fun of New Balance on O-line committee. I think
New Balance
New
has come
Balance
back.
is making a comeback.
Yeah,
they got
they've-
Shohei
I was gonna
Ohtani.
say that's Otani. Yeah.
Hoka.
Yeah.
Hoka is the New Balance.
Oh, yeah.
That's the dad shoe. Is Hoka.
Oh, okay.
Hoka. 100%.
as a new time dad, I can
Bingo.
agree.
Bingo.
Lindsay's like, I got 6 pair. It's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a wrap on Purple
Yep.
Daily
See you
here,
guys.
guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
It won't snow for a week. Write that down.
That's a wrap. Roll the credits. So, Lindsay, give us your background as a Vikings fan, man. How'd you get hooked? When'd you get hooked?
I'm not sure really on the year or whatever, but I guess back in the day as a wee lad, my family, some of my family, I guess, was neighbors with the Klein Saucers up in Carrington, and
that's cool.
yeah, pretty
Yes.
cool. And I wouldn't say every Sunday, but for about 2 or 3 years there, we'd go up there probably every other Sunday and watch football with their family and run around and get beat up and stuff. So that's kind of how I got hooked on the Vikings, I guess. It's been a long road since, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool. I guess it's how I got hooked on it.
Yeah. Jim Kleinsasser, one of
Kleinsasser's were tough,
great,
man.
Oh, yeah.
The Kleinsausers weren't messing around.
Even
They
their
were
5-year-old nephews, they were tackling me and stuff.
They were already fullbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
fully bearded at age 5.
Lead blocking for mom.
Neck rolls. Just
Watch
wearing
out.
Neck rolls into bed.
That's how in fact, in the crib, that's how you prevent the Kleinsasser babies from rolling over. Just put a big neck roll on them. Well, if you're ready to make some predictions here, Lindsay, we'll start with you. We'll go around the room 3 times, and we'll all make some predictions. You ready?
Absolutely.
All right.
Write this down.
Fire away.
All right. Well, I'm going to steal one from you guys, and it wasn't going to be the last one, but now with the week that the Vikings have had and quarterbacks, and you guys know how all that works.
Things are going great. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big parlay guy. My percentage is probably like 3% of hits, and then like 97 not. So the only way to get your percentages up is just throw more, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Chase
JJ
it.
McCarthy. So my first one, write that down, is Max Brosmer will have at least 200 or more passing yards, 1 or more touchdowns, and will not have a pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. And I'm gonna take a little
cheap
QB
shot.
Cespool challenge avenue, so I don't get marked on this. But if JJ McCarthy starts the game for whatever reason, he will not surpass any of those numbers.
Okay. So that's kind of that's like a tag at the end of the play. Alert, alert, alert. If he does start,
He can it. He can it.
Yeah.
can the
Went
Brosmer
over
stuff.
in the third row.
Way to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Write this down.
Judd.
All right, so the McCarthy predictions obviously have gone from being incredibly positive in the summer and week 1 to being still relevant, but much more negative. So let me hit the first ball, the breakfast ball here. JJ McCarthy won't be the Vikings starting quarterback to open next season. I think he'll be on the roster. I do not think he will. I don't think he will be the starter.
Are they going to wind up, because he's only made 6 starts? It's going to wind up being, in a totally different way, a Jordan Love situation where he does wind up mostly sitting for 3 years.
Well,
And then
it's either
we'll
Jordan
see what
Love
happens.
or Trey Lance, Phil, and I'd prefer the Jordan Love. So, those
I'm
appear
still
to be your
holding on
2
to some-
options.
Positive Phil is getting destroyed and trucked on the internet for just let's just see what happens. No, we must not.
But I feel
see
like
another-
and we should talk about this. I feel like what you've said on the show makes perfect sense. But like when you say give him a chance, I think people quit reading the tweet right there. And they're like, no more chances. And it's like, well, no, he can if anyone says cut him, it's done, I think you're an idiot. Like he deserves to stick around. But like
on the
you
roster,
said,
yeah.
but like yes, he deserves to be on the roster, and he probably deserves to be the backup quarterback to start next season. So your Jordan Love, like Oppo Jordan Love, I think would be the best case.
It would be like if Jordan Love peeked his head out in year 2 for 5 or 6
And just got
games
hit
and was
by
awful and got hit by a football train, and then they put him back behind Aaron Rodgers or something.
Correct.
Like, let's just forget that happened.
Correct.
Which I do think may have happened to Jordan Love because he was actually really raw and I think from a tool standpoint, he's bigger, a little more athletic, whatever. But,
Sure.
Okay, Declan, your prediction.
All right. Yeah, write this down.
Write this
I'll
down.
quantify. I'll put my hot take into a prediction. By next week's write that down, someone on the Vikings is losing their job or will be fired.
Okay.
Someone will be losing their job, be fired. So that includes coaches, front office people.
Okay.
Here's maybe the potential sticky wicket and maybe lawyer chase involved.
Oh boy.
If I'm going to assume that Max Brosmer starts. Okay? So Max Brosmer starts the game. If JJ McCarthy doesn't play again, would this still count?
If JJ McCarthy,
I have a hedge in another prediction, by the way, but yes, like that. I want to include players into this, like because I think.
But you're saying by next week. So what would have to happen here is,
Oh, right.
let me take the timeline away.
Sure.
Well, if you put the timeline on it, then it
Then
wouldn't,
then
because
it's
we won't know if Brosmer is a
yeah, that's true.
all things healthy starting quarterback.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah, that's true too.
so it becomes, because we won't really know until like
Yeah.
Wednesday or Thursday. You're basically saying you're taking your hot take and saying if they lose this game, someone is getting canned
But that
by
includes
before the
McCarthy.
following game.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, no, wait a second though, because you're saying by this time next week, or what's your timeline?
Well, I originally had it as next week's. Write that down. My spirit of this is if they're going to lose this game. By the way, they're now 11.5-point dogs in Seattle. I'm saying someone is going to be held accountable for this game.
Okay, let's do it. Could I help you craft it this way and
Absolutely.
say by kickoff of the following game,
Yeah,
somebody will have lost their job, because then if let's say Brosmer plays pretty well, but they lose.
So the Commanders
JJ
game.
McCarthy is clear from concussion protocol, so he is therefore no longer benched or inactive because of injury. He is the active backup quarterback to Max Brosmer. Then he would have lost his job to Max Brosmer.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So
Yep,
end
that's
date
fair.
kickoff by the Commanders game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just give a little more. Just let's create a little more drama later into the week. You know. All right. We're all kind of following the same.
Break this down.
Again, I don't. If your goal is to win a Super Bowl as a franchise, I don't know that either one of these players helps you get there. But if you're looking for something better than like a 57 passer rating, which I think the Vikings are going to be looking for, write this down. Aaron Rodgers or Mac Jones will be a Viking by week 1 of 2026. Aaron Rodgers or Mac Jones will be a Viking by week 1 of 2026. I brought up what did I say? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Is that what I said? Aaron Rodgers, Mac
Binding.
Jones.
It's binding.
I wrote
It's binding.
down Aaron Rodgers, so I wasn't gonna ding you there. But
Aaron Jones or
He said
Mac
Jones.
Rodgers.
It's binding.
I think, I mean, if you put there's two conversations here. There's the, does J.J. McCarthy have a shot, even as bad as he has looked, to turn a corner and live up to potential? But then there's, how long would that take, and do the Vikings have the patience to wait that out or facilitate that continuing to happen? And I think they're going to hedge it. I think Judd's right. He's on the team for, like, there's no way they would just like cut him or what do you trade him
reason
for?
to. Yeah.
You trade him for 25 cents on the dollar. But if they finish this season with 6 wins or whatever, there's going to be people coaching and GMing and front officing for their jobs, unless some of those guys are getting fired in January, February for the gap in what they thought was going to happen and what actually happened. And so the hedge is bring in a better quarterback that can start for Mac Jones would have 1 year left on his contract, and then you can figure it out. And Aaron Rodgers would be 42 years old or whatever. And you would just take your flirtations a step further, just like you did with Brett Favre 16 years ago. You flirted with him for one summer, and then it came to fruition the next summer.
Yep.
Again, would it be entertaining and fun for this podcast to cover an Aaron Rodgers season? Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. Is that going to get you anything more than like 8 or 9 or 10 wins? Hard to see that happening. Only one quarterback ever has been highly productive at that age or later. It was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So, but I'll go on the record. Rodgers or Mac Jones will be a Viking by week 1 of 2026. Back to Lindsay here.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, off record, real quick. Yesterday, when Positive Phil, said Tua to the Vikings, I about drove right in the ditch and crashed the truck. So just want to throw that out there. Let's hope it's Mac Jones if it's going to be anybody. But this one might be a little tricky. I don't know. You guys will have to help me with the wordage or whatever here. But Gabriel Murphy will replace Dallas Turner in the lineup next year. And obviously they won't be starters. So I don't know if we got to do like snap percentages or what, or just like a clear cut day 1 training camp type deal or opening day, I guess.
I think you need, if I believe that they are listed at the same spot on the depth chart. I think you would need Gabriel Murphy to be officially put above Turner on the depth chart because like Dallas can play interior linebacker and things like that, so it would get sort of murky. But if you just had the depth chart flip, that would be them essentially saying we like this guy more than this guy.
All right, let's do that before opening day of the first game. Before kickoff.
Well, things are not going well again. Things are not going well. Now we're talking about both first round picks from 2020.
I know he's had a couple.
The Vikings
good games,
will fold by 2027.
Yeah,
he's had a couple good games, but Gabriel Murphy is a man.
Write this down.
but it's weird because he just has they don't like him. They clearly don't like him. He's a great training camp guy, but he's on the practice squad right now, right? He's still on the practice squad.
Yeah, I agree, but Flores won't be here next year. He'll be in Cincinnati, so everything can change.
He'll be somewhere next year. We'll see.
Judd, percentage chance Flores' contract is up. Percentage chance he is still with the Vikings next year.
I think there's a better chance he's with the Vikings next year than a head coach. I would say 45%.
Yeah.
Like I would put it on the lower end of 50, but I wouldn't submarine it completely. But I don't think he gets it. I think between the lawsuit and sort of the stuff you hear behind the scenes, I don't think he gets a head coaching job.
Write this down.
Okay, over to Judd.
Okay, there will be a report. Let's just put the date. Let's put the date of opening day 2026 in the National Football League. There will be a report by a credible Athletic or ESPN, a credible news agency. There will be a report that will be a story about the McCarthy Vikings relationship, in which the term friction will be used, in which it'll basically be, again, to quote Dex's thing from last week on the no huddle. You'll know it when you see it, but it'll be a relatively large story going through all of what happened this season and alluding to the fact that there was at some point friction began to develop between McCarthy and McCarthy camp and the Vikings.
You did say the word friction specifically. Are you binding yourself to that word, or can the spirit of the you'll know it when you see it?
I think we'll know it when we see it. Friction will probably be used. It might be schism, to quote a great 2009 Brett Favre term. But no, it will be a pretty, in my opinion, lengthy story that will be the play-by-play that we all want about what has gone on behind the scenes. It will include a lot of details.
Yeah.
Fair?
I think you're right. I think I don't think it has been as harmonious from the day of the draft. I feel like there's been a picture painted publicly that, hey, this was the Vikings guy, and this is, even if he's been injured, Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown are going to be working every day with him. Sam Darnold's the starter, and obviously you have to pour some energy into that. I don't know that it's been that harmonious the last year and a half.
And we can't, like we have sat here for how long, and Sunday was not an example of this, but questioned the play calling by O'Connell for McCarthy. I mean, we're just three dudes that do a podcast and consume a lot of football. If you are in the McCarthy camp, there's no way that you're saying, hey, you guys are wrong. You know what? We love the play calling, right? Mm-hmm. So there's too many obvious things that somebody who has the time, the resources, and the sources is going to find out about. At least some of it.
Write this down.
Can't wait for that Diana Rossini podcast to drop. That Athletic
bombshell. Michael Silver has a shot of this story. I also think that it could be the guy who might be sneaky off the record. The guy who might be sneaky, who might sneak in and get this, is Seth. Is it Wickersham? Wickersham, who does a really good job. He gets a lot of quarterback stuff. He's really good investigative. I could see him.
Yeah. I feel like he does the big investigative stuff.
But but I mean, this would be juicy.
Wasn't it Mike Silver that threw in that line that him and McCarthy and Darnold did not have a great relationship in an expose in October? It was just thrown into the article, and it was not. And not that I expected those two to be best buddies going out and hanging out all the time. But it was interesting that was just thrown in, and there wasn't. We haven't expanded on that at all.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna get. He's been so bad so far, and the team has been so bad, and now you start going into as his JJ McCarthy and his camp, Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi. There's all these different stakeholders that are going to go into business for themselves here, right?
No, it's on him.
Yeah.
Where's the equipment guy? He did it.
Yeah, not trying to like drum up extra drama. This is what happens in football. Yeah. This is what happens. So it should be, unless something miraculously turns around this season. Okay, Dex.
All right, write this down. JJ McCarthy will start only 2 games or less for the rest of the season. So he'll make no more than 2 starts from here through the rest of the season. So if it's 0-2, I think Brosmer plays and might even take the job, or gets the job back next week against Commanders, continues to crap himself, and they'll have to bench him. So 6 games left. He'll only start 2 of them, or less.
Sonny. He's like Sonny. He needs diapers.
Write this down.
Okay, it's an indirect Brosmer prediction here, because roll the boat, Sky Yama, go Gophers. I love Max Brosmer. I think it'd be awesome if Max Brosmer was like the 6th ever undrafted free agent quarterback to be really, really good. That'd be a great story. So I'm going to say this, write this down. Justin Jefferson, his high receiving yards mark in the last 6 games is 79 yards against the Eagles back in mid-October. So he forget about 100 yards. Justin Jefferson hasn't had 80 yards in a game since the Cleveland game in Europe. Write this down. Justin Jefferson will have 80 yards or more. Max Brosmer, listen, buddy, here's what you got to do. Get the ball out, and get the ball out to number 18 accurately.
Write this down.
That's all you got to do.
Drive the ball.
Super easy.
You got to drive that ball.
Yep. Okay, back to Lindsay. Going to drive the ball for his 3rd prediction.
Here we go. One thing quick. So if Max Brosmer goes into Seattle, gets the win, comes out to start or whatever, is his alter ego 12 then? Beat 12 man in Seattle.
It might have to be.
That's great. I love that.
ESPN Get Up guys were just clowning JJ for the 9 thing for 15 minutes this morning.
I'm willing to bet that there has been that certain people within the Vikings organization have put a kibosh on anyone ever saying that they have an alter ego again.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It just it sets yourself up. If you're 5 years in, if Joe Burrow wants to talk about an alter ego at this point, all right, dude, you talk about whatever you want.
Write this down.
Lamar Jackson.
All right, so this is kind of a big one here. He's kind of got the hot seat this last week, especially. But Nick Mullins 4th and 1. We're throwing it 80 yards, and hopefully we get a touchdown, right?
Right.
So the undrafted rookie Miles Price, he will lead the NFL in return yards and touchdowns in 2026, and have at least 15 receptions and 100 yards.
Wow.
Okay.
So you think they're going to double down, and he's not, and the next time he's going to give a poison call and get away from the football.
He's been the best returner we've had since Sherrill's. So if it wasn't for all those 90 holding calls a game, he would probably be up in the lead in return yards or all-purpose yards, I guess, or whatever. So.
Well, Lindsay, great work with these predictions. The Kleinsasser connection is a great one. Since you have this life-altering platform right now, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out in your life?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, my new son Theo, girlfriend Emily. She, I don't know if she could tell me a single football player besides Travis Kelce, but she is sure to walk through the living room at the worst times during the Vikings games. Be like, man, they still sucking, Like, of course, Chargers game, I really got that. So, my fantasy football group, it's been a gauntlet. Everybody's really close, and the loser has to pose on a calendar. So, I'd like to thank them, and that's all I got. Hopefully, we hit on one of those.
Awesome. All right, Lindsay. Yeah, update us if you wind up on the calendar. You got to send us a couple copies. All right.
It's coming close. So.
Yeah. Amazing. All right, Lindsay. Great work and good luck with your predictions. Hopefully, we can talk again soon, man.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys.
All right. Before we get to our final predictions, some more thoughts on the quarterback situation here and a quarterback cesspool challenge. Judd, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Make sure that heater is working after last
night. Yep. If you have not listened to Sports Dad yet, and I've been telling you for a few months, make sure that HVAC is checked. Well, then now is a final warning to do so, because we now have the cold here. We now have the snow here. And if you have any doubts, I'm not saying that the HVAC is broken, but let's just say that the heating isn't going so great. You're like, it's not like it used to be. The house is not as warm. Well, guess what? MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air to the rescue at that point, because what they can do is they can make sure that HVAC is firing on all cylinders, keeping your home safe and comfortable. They also are your local Carrier dealer, so check them out to learn more about their Carrier products. Fine-tuning, replacements, whatever you need. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air can do it. They're fantastic. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or go to their website, callmsp.com, callmsp.com.
Hey, Dickey's Barbecue, if you're looking for incredible Texas-style barbecue here in the state of Minnesota, Dickey's Barbecue Pit in Eagan could be a place for family gatherings, too, because they will cater for any size group you have. They'll deliver right to your door. And also, holiday season in mind, every $100 gift card purchased in-store only, you get a $25 certificate free at Dickey's. Well, what's better than free barbecue? Free money. This deal ends on December 26th, only available at Dickey's Barbecue Pit in-store in Eagan. If you want to order online for a delivery or catering, go to dickeys.com or call 866-BARBECUE. That's dickeys.com or 866-BARBECUE. It's whiskey season, boys. It is whiskey season.
Oh, yeah.
And may I recommend?
It sure is, with how things are going in Eagan.
Responsibly, of course, responsibly. But Pendleton Whiskey, they've got these 10-year stadium anniversary bottles here, the 2025 Vikings limited edition Pendleton bottles. And Pendleton is the whiskey you want for your Vikings game days. It's a proud partner of the Minnesota Vikings, and Pendleton whiskey is not just poured, it's earned. I'm excited to, this holiday weekend, maybe get into a couple glasses of Pendleton whiskey. A couple glasses, let's just say, of Pendleton whiskey.
You're not driving? It's fine.
No, definitely. Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to make sure that you are drinking responsibly. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Pendleton whiskey, it's not just poured, it's earned. All right.
Write this down.
Final predictions, and then we'll talk some QB. Judd?
All right, write this down. So Aaron Jones' season high in receiving for a single game is 3. He's done that on 4 occasions. Aaron Jones will have 4 or more catches on Sunday against the Seahawks, and here's why. As you go back and watch all of these film reviews on J.J. McCarthy, some of them really good, some of them not so good. I think Barney, my dog, he might be coming out with one today because everyone is doing them. But the one thing that you see is McCarthy doesn't process very well because you're seeing the check down option available a lot, and he often goes to his check down a little too late, or he doesn't go to him at all. Well, Aaron Jones is a hell of a check down option with good hands. I think where Max Brosmer is going to be at his best is probably, it might not be throwing the ball athletically, it's going to be decisions, and I think that he is not going to be afraid, especially in that stadium, to go to his check down. So Aaron Jones, 4 or more receptions on Sunday.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, like just amateur idiot looking at film, those we sit there like, where's just get to a check down, get to it. Why does McCarthy have and Wentz not far behind, the longest average depth of target? Dude, as Thor said, mix in a water once in a while, man. Yeah. For God's sakes. There's not that much water in this system sometimes, especially when you have a tight end and or a running back staying in to protect or chip. And the problem with Hawkinson on the tight end front is he's not explosively athletic enough to chip for a second and a half and then get out 5 yards and flash to be open within like 2.5 seconds. So yeah, it'd be nice if there were some of it's schematic and some of it is like just get if they're available, get to your reads. But okay, Dex, what's your final prediction?
Yeah, final one for me. So the Vikings haven't had a quarterback with a passer rating above 90 since week 1. So McCarthy has had 30. Well, actually, I need to check Wentz, but at least McCarthy himself has had passer ratings recently of 34.2, 47.7, 54.5, 82.6, 37.5, and then 98.5. So write this down. The Vikings starting quarterback on Sunday will have a passer rating of at least 90. He'll have a passer rating of at least 90 or above. Write it down. It's Max Brosmer. Like I don't think he's officially been the starter. Everyone is pointing it this morning saying he's going to start?
Yeah, the head coach sort of messed up. So
No.
he does spot on KFXN. You guys might be familiar with it.
KFXN radio?
Yep, every Tuesday
Yeah.
with the voice of the Vikings. And he was talking about the game and Brosmer, and he at one point basically said, well, when Max starts, and then he went back after that and
Whoever
was like,
starts.
whoever starts. But he had said Max starting, so yeah, I think you're very safe.
But
I mean,
it's not some they've got the let's call it what it is. Right now, anyways, the worst quarterback in the NFL has a concussion.
yeah.
You're not rushing that dude out to play at Seattle.
Of course you're
so,
not.
you know,
Of course you're not. But anyway, like, don't be concerned. You're going to get your Brosmer. You're going to get your fix of Maxey on Sunday.
It's like when, like working with the Twins the last 2 years, if Rocco was being really coy about, well, like, we don't want to announce who our starter. If your opener's Pearson Ole, you're not gaming the system. Like, it's okay to announce
So true.
Pearson Ole is going to be your opener,
That's
and
so
then your
true.
bulk guy. You know what? Let's speculate on the bulk guy. That's fine.
Such
But
a great point.
you're going to be okay announcing. I don't think that the Tampa Bay Rays are going to be sitting on this information overnight, freaking out that Pearson Ole's on the bump. Let's take
Yeah.
a step back. Sorry,
love it.
Twins rant there.
No, that's
No,
but
it's all good. Yeah.
the spirit of what you said is 1,000% spot on.
All right, my final prediction is a Sam Darnold revenge game.
Write this down.
Oh, you don't think you're just going to kick me to the
No.
curb for this guy over here? Yeah, how's that working out for you? I love my life in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, and you guys are clowning around with a terrible offense. You couldn't pony up $35 million for some stability at quarterback? Yeah, I'll show you. So twice this season, Sam Darnold has thrown for over 300 yards, and twice he has thrown for 4 touchdowns or more. So I'll say this. He will do one or the other or both. So he'll either throw for 300 yards and or 4 touchdowns in his revenge game against the Minnesota Vikings. And you might say, well, yeah, but like the Vikings know what his kryptonite is. Brian Flores is going to pick at his sensitive places as a quarterback. But Sam Darnold also faced that defense all throughout training camp. I know that when you're facing the defense during season practices, you're facing kind of a scout defense, replicating the defense you're going to face. But he's seen that Flores defense plenty in training camp too. So now he struggled a little bit, but I'm going to say 300 and or 4 touchdowns for Sam Darnold.
And
Yeah.
or.
Write
Okay.
this down.
And or. Yeah.
Okay.
So before we get to a quarterback cesspool challenge, let's spend like 10 minutes, and there's plenty more where this came from, probably the next several weeks and months, this quarterback discussion. But Dex just sent us in our little group text thread, Diana Rossini did drop an article this morning about what she's hearing about the Vikings quarterback situation. So now what, she writes, delay McCarthy again? Like sit him and delay him? I've been told that there were some concerns about how another year sitting on the bench would affect McCarthy. And would it even help? Every question has a cousin, and suddenly they're multiplying. I think that means that there's a lot of questions surrounding him.
And I saw that at first, and I'm like, is she alluding to Kirk Cousins? And then I'm like,
I
okay.
I reread
It's-
it like twice too. 'cause I
It
was like,
stopped
what?
me for a second. I'm like, Diana, do not use the word cousin.
Poor choice of words there.
in this territory.
Well, there is a fairly decent chance Kirk Cousins, if they decide McCarthy's on. Let me finish the quote, and then we'll. Can a Rob talented quarterback grow fast enough to match a team built to win yesterday? If they do decide that McCarthy's going to be on the team but not the number one starter, it opens up a bajillion different avenues where you could go. Kirk Cousins is one of those options. But
Yes.
Judd, you haven't been able to opine on this evolving quarterback situation since Monday. So it feels like the temperature of the discussion among fans and media locally, nationally, is very hot right now. A lot of emotion,
Yep.
a lot of anger,
Yep.
sides being chosen. I personally am willing to remain patient with the situation. Franchise quarterbacks don't always click overnight, especially when they are 22 years old and had an injury in their first season. I think red flags are duly noted. Historically terrible start through a handful of games. The dude gets a new injury every 15 minutes, it seems like, and the concussion's just the latest.
Yep.
He's constantly getting hit by cars on the road, dog in the street getting hit by these NFL cars.
Frogger.
Feels like internally they're losing some patience with him with articles like this coming out too. And also 2 years of that rookie scale contract value out the window. So that's another red flag.
Yep.
And he's unlikely at this point to be a top of the line stud. And even with all those red flags, I'm sitting here like, all right, well, maybe he might pop in 2026. And what am I missing out on if I don't allow that to play out? Mac Jones? Like, is Mac Jones winning you a Super Bowl? So I'm still kind of in acknowledge the red flags, but willing to ride it out mode myself. And apparently that's a controversial stance to take.
Well, the one thing that people are sort of forgetting, and because, I mean, yes, there is, the temperature is definitely, it's boiling hot. It's very, very hot. It's beyond the scope of the norm. But the one thing that people aren't talking about is none of the stuff that we are discussing about his play matters again right now because he's hurt. He's always hurt. And so like that to me, that is the biggest red flag. If you cannot stay on the field, I don't care if you are Joe Montana or you are Steve Bono. If you can't stay on the field, it doesn't matter. And so it feels like that's being lost. I mean, Kevin O'Connell again went to the podium on a Monday and buried in his opening statement that JJ McCarthy is hurt. And so, like, we're fighting about, like, can he play? You know, he's been terrible. Well, he deserves a chance. Well, blah, blah, blah. It does, you know, you have to have a suitable option to replace him next season based on one thing, health. If you are going to go into the season with a guy who's just a backup slappy and JJ McCarthy, and he's going to get hurt again at this rate, you are going to look absolutely terrible, irresponsible, and quite frankly, it's malpractice. So I don't think that's being focused on enough. It's the knee. Okay, all right, it's a year. Unfortunate. Now it's the ankle. Oh, okay, this is sort of weird. Then it's the hand. Well, the hand's impeding him, but he's going to play through it. Now it's a concussion on a play in which he again ran and got slammed into the ground. So I would like to sort of just start off by saying, let's put aside the statistics, the ineptitude, whatever he's doing wrong, and point out he cannot stay healthy. Like, and that will submarine your career instantaneously. This is the National Football League, which is Jerry Glanville.
National Football League.
Which, as Jerry Glanville once said, means not for long if you can't, first of all, in his point, referee correctly, but my point, stay on the field. So let's see this for what it is. He's hurt again. As far as his play goes, I've begun to see this very clearly. He's not going to be not on the team. You're not going to cut him. He's not going to be let go. He's on a rookie contract still. It's fine. That's fine. You are going to have another quarterback, though, who you deem ready to play, who you deem a starting caliber quarterback to come in and, if nothing else, challenge him. Because here's your problem. If you see some of the red flags again, like let's say he stays healthy, now you start to see the play red flags, okay? You're doing him no favors by playing him. Like, I became convinced the last two games have turned me towards, I don't think it's helping him one bit. And then, you know, just in particular, Phil, and I think Dex watched this too, but in particular, we went through, and I think it's a pretty fair, even keel breakdown. Kurt Warner's breakdown of his game, which is about an hour of your time, in which Kurt Warner is, by the way, criticizing a lot of O'Connell's concepts and doing his best, as he says, to defend the quarterback because he played the position and he does err on the side of defending him. But he still gave you enough material where it's like, okay, this isn't working yet. There's too many things here. And my last point is this. If you've listened to the last 2 months of dialogue on JJ McCarthy coming from like the Vikings, coming from a lot of people, let's go through what the problems are, okay? First, it was the mechanics, which were worked on in season, which, by the way, that's not going to fix things. Like, you can't fix things in a week. But anyway, that's what that was. Okay. So that's one. This is outside of his health. The second thing now is, well, look at the plays he's missing. Like it went from, if he could just keep his mechanics good, to the Packers game film, which was, look at all these plays he's not seeing, right? So I think you got to bring in someone to play the position. I think you continue to work with him as much as possible, but I also think you need to be acutely aware of the fact that this dude has shown you nothing to indicate he can ever stay on a football field, which will be the end of him very quickly if that continues.
Yeah, to that point, I wish we had more than 6 games of on-field data and experience in 2 years to be able to make as I say this, I already hear the pushback of before we can make a judgment when people are like, well, those 6 games are enough to make a judgment. And I know that those 6 games have been on many levels historically bad, but I think you have to leave room for there is still a chance based on his draft position. The Vikings weren't the only team sniffing around J.J. McCarthy as a top 10 pick. It wasn't like the Vikings got weird and desperate and every other team had him as a 3rd-round grade, or they would have sniffed that out. Well, you could say, well, Ponder, well, okay. Maybe he was a 3rd-round grade and the Vikings jumped 2 rounds, but other teams were deeming him a 1st-round talent. And so is there still a chance that he clicks and turns a corner, let's say by like mid-season of 2026? I think the answer is yes. A lot of people are going to push back vehemently and say no. Is it less likely that he is as good as you hoped a year and a half ago? Of course, because of what we've seen so far and with the injuries. But I was texting with Jeremiah Searles and I were bickering via text this morning. I went to bed last night and he saw some of the tweets I was putting out about just, hey, I'm cool being patient. He's like, you really don't believe this, right? Like you think you can actually play? And I said, I'm not smart enough myself to determine that a top 10 pick is a bust after 6 games. If you are smart enough, anyone, you're smarter than I am. And he goes, well, did you think that Zach Wilson was a bust? Like after 6 games? I said, yeah, I did. I also thought after 9 or 10 games that Sam Darnold was a bust, that Baker Mayfield was a bust, that Josh Allen and Jordan Love sitting for 3 years and then playing 9 games was a bust. He looked terrible in those first 8 or 9 games. And turns out those guys, Daniel Jones thought was a bust. Now, do I want to wait 5 years for this to click? No, because by that point you lose all contractual value of the rookie scale contract. And that is a huge part of this. The clock is ticking. So I'm sort of caught between, I personally do not think and am not smart enough to call it after 6 games. If you are, random guy on Twitter, you're smarter than me, and I'll concede that, and that's fine. Or Jeremiah, like that dude played in the NFL for 6 years, and he sees something. So from an on-field standpoint, I'm not ready to call it after 6 games, is what I'm saying.
Just to clarify then, are you saying that you think would you like to see him as the starting quarterback opening day of 26, or are you just saying he should not be thrown into the garbage bin right now and jettisoned from the team?
Definitely should not be jettisoned from the team. Like,
agreed.
Full stop, period.
Agreed.
On the other part of your question, if this is the last glimpse that we have seen, let's say he doesn't come back from the concussion and Brosmer plays or whatever, or maybe he starts a couple more games, but we have this terrible taste in our mouths. I know that overwhelmingly, and they're going to decide this too, you're going to want a different quarterback probably to start in 2026 because you don't want to be an embarrassment. You want to at least compete for the playoffs, and I understand that.
Correct.
But if I had to ask you guys, forget about like coaching for your job and GMing for your job. If you had 2 options in 2026, knowing that the 2027 quarterback draft sounds like it's going to be a banger, all right? Would you rather get back into the comfort zone of 9 or 10 wins and probably getting, if you get to the playoffs, probably getting beat by a better team with a better quarterback, if you've got old Aaron Rodgers or Mac Jones, or if you trade for Tua's contract or whatever it looks like? By the way, the options aren't plentiful if you decide to move on from J.J. McCarthy. Go get Jacoby Brissett or Jameis Winston. All right, well, yeah, those guys are going to get Jefferson 1,000 yards and maybe like 9 or 10 wins, but you're not like winning a Super Bowl, I don't think, with those guys. So would you rather feel a little bit better about them being competitive and winning 9 or 10 games? Or would you rather tank your ass in 2026 and go get a top 3 or 4 pick? I don't think the Vikings or fans have the stomach for that.
The Wilfs 100%. Yeah. The Wilfs have never purposely tanked.
It'd be terrible.
The Wilfs have never purposely tanked. So I think where you need to land, because there's a chance this kid can't play. And by the way, there's a chance he literally can't play. So unfortunately, I think you're at a predicament where even if you decide, we sort of want to tank, I think you have to sell it better than bringing back J.J. McCarthy as the starter for sure. So this is a difficult predicament because we've seen almost nothing and he's hurt again. So, like, if you went full tank, like if you sort of winked to the crowd and said, "We're going with McCarthy next season," I gotta be honest, pretty attracted to this guy right here because I've been full tank guy for a long time, but I don't think the Wilfs have. I don't think they can do it. And the wild card in this then is if you're Justin Jefferson, like that's where I could see him being like, okay, what the hell are you doing to me? Which he's such a marvelous talent. It would be fair for him to say, I'm not going to be a party to what you're doing here, as much as I might appreciate the attempt to lose football games.
Yeah. One more thing, and then we'll get to the quarterback cesspool challenge. But I did my 2 tweets last night that have kind of fired up the masses. Said, all right, you want to bail on J.J. McCarthy after a few games. Okay. Like, based on how he's played, that is a reasonable decision for people that are coaching and GMing for their jobs. That let's just be on with it, right? Mm-hmm. So here are the options that, and there's probably options beyond this, but your options for 2026, I think, are trade for Mac Jones, and it wouldn't be a 6th-round pick. That dude's a former top 15
and there'll be
pick
competition
who showed big flashes coming out of the San Francisco QB rehab school. That's probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Mac Jones. Would you be surprised if it was,
I think 3rd,
like a 5th, so 3rd round pick?
Yeah, I don't think it's a 5th.
For like 1 year of Mac Jones.
Yep.
And you'd obviously be upgrading your quarterback play right there. Boom, you're back in at least playoff contention there for sure. But, by the way, he's a free agent after next year, so then you're back to, you either have to franchise him or pay him $40 million a year, and now you're back into, he's a better quarterback than what you've been getting this year, but is he worth paying $40 or $50 million a year? How does that, now you're kind of back in the Kirk Cousins thing that we complained about for all those years, right? Mm-hmm. You could sign 40-some-year-old Aaron Rodgers, which would be wildly entertaining for doing this every single day, like entertaining people on a podcast. You could draft another quarterback in what is mostly regarded as a fairly weak class in terms of there's probably only 2 or 3 first-rounders that you might not have access to. You could trade for Anthony Richardson, who's less accurate than J.J. McCarthy last time we saw him. Yeah, or you could trade for like a Tua or a Kyler. Some people have said Trevor Lawrence, but I think they might win the division, by the way, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Or you go with Max Brosmer, undrafted free agent. All of these are either risky themselves.
Yeah.
Or kind of cap you, I think, back in mediocrity where you've been. So they're just in a really precarious spot at that position right now, probably for the next year.
They are. The one place I would disagree with what you read from the Rossini piece, and by the way, I know she's a favorite of this show, so I know all of you right now are thrilled that I'm quoting her. But the one thing that I would disagree with is the Vikings were built to win yesterday when the season started. That is no longer the case now, or potentially in 26 at all. So like this is going to be a very different team in many ways, I think, in 26. That doesn't mean that they can't be successful. We've certainly seen that. But, the urgency to win with sort of a veteran roster and a young quarterback, it didn't work. It's not being run back. So that's wrong. I just think you need to have a plan in place, partially, again, for McCarthy's sake. You have to have something. Sorry, Dex, go ahead.
Mark Florio just dropped an article, too, about the Vikings QB situation 15 minutes ago. Kind of interesting that we have
huge
Diana dropped one this morning. Florio just dropped one 15 minutes ago on Pro Football Talk. Huge expose on the Vikings underestimating the quarterback situation, and said, whatever the number of cooks, the absence of an executive chef is making the Vikings seem like a bunch of dodos as it relates to the handling of J.J. McCarthy. That's the last paragraph of this article. But
this is going to pit so many people against each other, and you
hate to see it, don't you, Phil?
It is. I mean, I know you're an ambulance chaser. I actually do kind of hate to see it, but I don't know, man. It's going to make this show zesty over the next few months.
I'm sorry. You know what? It makes the show more entertaining. And look, if he was going to, I mean, the best case, he had worked out. He was going great guns right now, and that would be my favorite. Yeah. But if it's going to go bad, it might as well just go bad.
Yeah. Yep. So I can't wait to dive into that one here. All right, we'll do our quarterback cesspool challenge picks in a second here, Judd. Pepsi is the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings, and Justin Jefferson is the official face on these Pepsi souvenir cups. Again, in 2025, you can get these cups that have a QR code on the side. When you scan it, you can enter to win Victor's Ride, a Polaris Ranger 1000. You can get these cups at US Bank Stadium during games, at Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations, and at Buffalo Wild Wings when you order 10 wings of any style and a Pepsi. So head on in. Supplies are limited. They may not even last to the end of the season. So get in there before these cups are gone. And remember, Pepsi is the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings, just like Padres is the official beer of the Sports Dad.
All right, it's the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, and you're running errands today, and you're going around, and one thing that you're trying to figure out is what beer to buy to pair with the turkey tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you right now, Padres is the perfect choice. Why? Because their red beer, the Red Chimney, is perfect for watching football, perfect for having on the Thanksgiving table, and the good news is this, their beer is available now in more than 200 liquor stores in the Metro, Rochester, and Mankato. Plenty of great choices, but for Thanksgiving, may I suggest the Red Chimney? You are going to thank me. There are not a lot of good Irish Reds left in this country, but Padres brews, in my opinion, the best.
All right, boys, it's time to pick what we think are going to be terrible quarterback performances. Yes. The quarterback cesspool challenge, where we look to celebrate bad quarterback play in the National Football League. Here's how it works. Each member of the show drafts a quarterback for that weekend's games. You can only use a quarterback once per season, so once you use your guy, your Spencer Rattler or whoever, you're done with that quarterback. Scoring is pretty simple. It's ESPN's QBR on a 0 to 100 scale. Let's take a look at last week's results. Low score wins, and Judd, by correctly identifying what wound up being the worst performing QBR of the week, Shedeur Sanders in a win. 8.7 QBR.
Oh, wow.
That's why Kevin Stefanski had the immediately processed QBR and said, I ain't giving a game ball for that.
He barely mentioned him. He's like, good job, Shedeur. Bye.
Ain't going to give that guy a game ball. I had Geno Smith in the same game, a 12.7 QBR, sacked 10 times. If you want to look at those 10 sacks in carnage fashion, O-line committee film breakdown from yesterday. And then Declan vindictively going at your guy Daniel Jones, even though he's a changed man. Well, actually, I'm going to give you this one because he had an above-average QBR, 60. Then they lost the game in overtime to the Chiefs.
Karma.
So with that on the season, Judd picks up his third weekly win.
Oh, man, I thought they'd move up in the average.
I have 7 weekly wins. Judd has 3. Declan has 2. For the season-long standings, still pretty tight. I'm at 37.4. Judd, 39.6. Declan, 47.6. But still a lot of season left here, boys. Like a third of the season left. And QB Cespool challenge.
And a delicious table full of quarterbacks for this weekend.
So we go in reverse order of last week. So Dex gets the number 1 pick. I pick second. Judd, you pick third. I'll flash here for the YouTube audience. These are the quarterbacks that are already off the board for each of us this season here. So Dex, who do you got?
Yeah, give me Shedeur. Give me Shedeur Sanders.
Who are they playing? 49ers? I think it's 49ers.
Yes. Brock Purdy is playing the 49ers, so it is.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's playing the Browns.
Or the Browns. Yeah, the Browns. Yeah.
Oh, are you tipping your pick there?
I misspoke. No, potentially I'm not, because it depends on who you pick.
Brock Purdy at Browns is on my big board.
It should be.
Teddy Bridgewater possibly starting against the Cardinals is on my big board, but the Cardinals are just, I don't know.
And it's not, and we are still hearing Baker very well might play, right?
He might play, yeah. So then you'd wind up with Baker and gosh, do I do it? Do I do it? The undrafted rookie free agent at Seattle.
Yeah, that's on my big board in yellow.
You know what? This is a pick for organizational dysfunction. I'll take Max Brosmer at the Seahawks.
Wow.
I'm gonna be rooting for him. But this offense
You're
right
hedging
now,
your route.
I'm hedging, yeah.
You're hedging your route.
I'm gonna go for it. Because I
Some fan
held
you are.
out on not taking McCarthy at the detriment of my quarterback cesspool challenge score.
Well, I got screwed.
Yeah, you picked him in his best game.
Yeah. I almost dropped a word I shouldn't say. It's that upset.
All right, who's your pick?
Boy, there are some interesting ones, including the return of Joe Burrow at Baltimore on Thanksgiving. Like, Joe Burrow is coming back from a months-long layoff. Tyler Shuck is at Miami. Bridgewater, to your point, might start. But you know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Bryce Young against the Rams.
Okay.
I still haven't taken Bryce Young. The Rams right now are, as the kids like to say, a wagon.
They are a wagon.
He's coming off a game in which he had a 13.5, I believe, QBR on Monday night against the 49ers. Give me Bryce Young.
There we go. There's your quarterback cesspool challenge here. Looking to celebrate and identify bad quarterback play in the National Football League. Tomorrow on Thanksgiving, we'll have a Trenches edition with our guy Alex Boone talking about the current state of things. And then Feedback Friday on Friday. And don't forget, whatever happens, Vikings, Seahawks, we will be right here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, the place to be for Vikings Vent Line after every single Vikings game. Roll the boat, Skyma. Go Gophers. But if not, I'll take a quarterback cesspool challenge win. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.